the three of us had always dealt with the cold start problem of data. Like, hey, we want to build a cluster of tools. We want to test it. There's no data. Customers can't share their data. It's all sensitive. And people who typically suffer most from that are the developers. And that was sort of a very fundamental problem that we were trying to solve. The privacy part of it was always the driver for it. So when we released it, our view was that actually privacy engineering as a service, where you just have a bunch of APIs and it makes your data easy, safe, and sort of private to work with, is the right way to orient. And that was actually one early assumption that turned out really not to be sort of a fit. The privacy messaging really in the early days tended to orient us a lot more towards like privacy engineers, security engineers, compliance teams. We really did want to focus on the developers because we felt like they're the ones who are sort of suffering the most. And we remember seeing this report from Kaggle that talked about roughly a third of every project is dedicated to just getting access to data, normalizing it and making it usable. That was what we wanted to remove as a chunk, because if you could remove that, then building other vertical use cases or getting it a little bit more scaled was easier. So we started with that, but very quickly, we found we didn't really want to be classified with like traditional security privacy companies. And then what we also found was the more pull in the market for us was more around the utility and the accuracy of the output of our models versus the privacy. And at the same time, we start to see a lot of the emergence of the generative AI technologies and buzz. And because that became sort of a tailwind, we ended up essentially orienting even down to our messaging around what we would consider to be the synthetic data. So we sort of said privacy first, synthetic is how we do it. So there was a lot of the pieces there, but the orientation ended up changing because like most industries, positioning and messaging almost dictates your funnel process.